Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, July 17th, 1:30 in the afternoon. This is Bill DiOrio speaking to you from an undisclosed location in North Boulder. And I wanted to talk today about one bill that Junie was the prime sponsor on that deals with libraries. And the reason I wanted to do this is because if you want to see what you can expect in the future, look at what Junie has sponsored and promoted in the past. And I think that we need to give some careful consideration to this bill and the things that are in it. There's another bill that I'm going to talk about in another video that talks about a Bill of Rights for people in youth services in Colorado Department of Human Services facilities. But that's it for another day. Before I get started, though, I did want to just say a couple things about the assassination attempt on former President Trump. As somebody who lived through the assassination of John Kennedy in 1963, I was a sophomore in high school. This is eerily reminiscent of that, right to the point of the strange and unexplainable withdrawal of Secret Service protection. I don't know if you may not remember, but the day that when Kennedy was in Dallas, they did not put normally they have a bulletproof shield, a bubble top on the limo, which they did not put on. Also, one of the Secret Service agent that normally rides on the road on the rear bumper would have been right behind Kennedy's head. They pulled him off that day. It just all the lack of presence of the Secret Service on buildings and in the vicinity, he was left unprotected. In Butler, we had Trump there, where the Secret Service intentionally ignored the two most likely buildings. One is the water tower, and then the roof of this glass science building. They said, "Oh, this is not our problem. We'll let the state police deal with that." And apparently, they did not even have good communications with them, which just left Trump completely exposed. And the inexplicable idea that they would give the shooter the first shot. The assassin gets the first shot, and the snipers that had him in their scope did not take him out before he shot. So to me, it's clear to me that the intention was that as of Sunday morning, Trump would be dead. So would the shooter. There would be a lot of ambiguity about who the shooter was. The pictures they show of him, he looks like a choir boy who's not shaving yet, and the pictures of the guy on the roof had a beard, and it did not look like the same guy. But the issue is there would be uncertainty, doubt, confusion. Trump would be dead, and it would just be chaos. So I'm thankful that whoever was up, somehow Trump moved his head right at the last second. No matter what you think about Trump, it would have been a catastrophe if he had been shot. This country would be in even worse peril than it is now. Okay, enough on that. This bill that I want to talk about, Senate Bill 24-216. Notice that Junie was the first sponsor in the House of Representatives, and it's a bill on libraries. Okay, now and again, just the bottom line here is this bill it supersedes local control over libraries. It demands a certain set of criteria. Every library in the state of Colorado now, because this bill was passed and signed by the governor, must conform to the standards outlined in this bill, or they lose their library license or what have you. This is again an example of the assimilation of authority into the top echelons, the elimination of local control. And again, remember the principle of subsidiarity. The decisions about your local library should be made by the board of directors of your local library. And there's obvious things that they should not be able to do. But this, as you'll see in this discussion, this goes way beyond things that would be normally considered inappropriate. So the the bill states that libraries are required to include policies regarding library resources. Okay, no problem. And then it goes on to tell us that the librarians are highly trained and educated, and we're not, and therefore they're the ones who we should allow to thoughtfully select library resources for their specific communities, and to educate and entertain the public library patrons. Okay, so far, I dispute the fact that we should turn all these decisions over to the librarians. That I don't agree with that at all. Then it goes on to say a full range of books and other library resources should be provided for the interest and enlightenment of all people in the community. Again, that leads to begs the question, what communities are we talking about? And then it goes on to say that recent challenges to library material have targeted various protected classes. And there's a red flag right there. What are these protected classes? Including individuals based on their race, sexual orientation, and these constitute dangerous discriminations and limiting some individuals from adequate representation and participation in institutional public life. Now, obviously, any library who seeks to ban material based on the race of the subject matter is obviously that's not going to fly. That's completely discriminatory and unfair. But again, they throw in this. They equate sexual orientation with race, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. You're born pretty much with your race. Your sexual orientation is acquired. It can largely be an acquired habit, and orientation can be highly skewed and manipulated. So they're not the same. And then removing library resources prevents others from examining, enjoying, and learning from the removed library resources. And so, in other words, it's saying, well, if any resources gets removed, it's going to injure someone, because everyone has the right to examine and enjoy whatever resources they feel they need to have. Okay, and so these. It says here that the libraries they must have these policies for acquisition of material, and they then have to comply with the standards and identify the priorities listed and mission of the public libraries. All right, so they're saying the libraries have to develop standards for accepting or rejecting materials. Okay, fine. It goes through some definitions here. Then it's saying that, okay, all libraries must establish written policies for the acquisition of material, and they should also establish written policies for the reconsideration and retention of materials. And here's where it starts getting dicey. That, at a minimum, these standards must comply with the following standards. So here's the state interjecting themselves and saying, nobody can develop any standards that don't at least comply with the standards we're outlining in this bill. So they're basically arrogating to themselves the decision about library materials. Again, they repeat the idea that the public has the right of access to a range of social, political, aesthetic, moral, and other ideas and experiences through the public library. Leaving the door open, the whole idea that the public has the right, irrespective of political, aesthetic, and moral considerations. So, mass murder journals, dissection journals, you just name it. It's just leaving the door for anything, right? All right. Now here is the public library shall not exclude a library resources because of the topic addressed by the library resource or the opinions expressed in the library resource. So immediately the board of directors of the library cannot say, well, we're not going to have any libraries books in here about how to overthrow the government of the United States. So we're not going to have books in here about detailed instructions about how to commit mass murder, or how to set up a satanic ritual sexual abuse session. They can't do it. The topic is off limits. If somebody wants to have a book in there about how to make bombs and to firebomb people, the Library Commission can't reject those because they can't do anything based on topic. And then the opinions expressed. So if the library, if somebody books is expressing an opinion about deviant sexual behavior, no, you can't reject it because of their opinion about, promoting pedophilia, promoting sodomy, promoting, you name it. And now here's this one takes it one more step further. The public library shall not prescribe or prohibit the circulation or procurement of a library resource because of partisan or doctrinal disapproval of the library resource. So, okay, so if let's say that your library group, they have a partisan belief that the United States Constitution should be defended and supported. But somebody else has the partisan idea that no, this country should be overthrown and we should establish a dictatorship of the proletariat. So the library cannot ban books based on those kind of partisan decisions, and of course doctrinal disapproval. So the Ten Commandments are like a foundation document in our civilization. And they just went out the window. You can't base any of your decisions based on moral valuations about whether something is sacrilegious, whether it's profaning, whether or not it's promoting immorality, whether it's promoting murder, child sacrifice. You can't do it. So I don't know I'm not even sure if this law is passed. I don't know how can a library ban anything? And then it finishes off with the notion that the sacred duty of the public library to challenge censorship, not to protect children and vulnerable people from inappropriate influences or inappropriate suggestions, but the enemy here is censorship, not the. Hang on a second. It isn't exposing kids to inappropriate subject matter. It's about censorship. That's the enemy here. So the public library shall prohibit discrimination based on age, background, political or religious views, origin, disability, race, color, sex, then sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. So those are all wide open words, which are completely just in line with the whole LGBT agenda, and so books cannot be screened away based on their promotion of gender identity, sexual orientation, or gender expression, whatever that means. So again, this is just eliminating the any ability of local libraries. If the local library wants to promote the LGBT agenda, they should just go right ahead and promote it and answer to the voters in their district or in their city. If the city of Boulder wants to promote the LGBT agenda, which they certainly do, then it should be up to the citizens of Boulder in order to put new people on that board, not the state of Colorado. From this day forward, no state library authority can do anything to prohibit this. Now, so let's just look at the here's the City of Boulder, North Boulder Library. This is the children's craft section, and displayed prominently on the wall is the gay pride flag, and this is for kids. So the LGBT agenda is being promoted heavily in our libraries. Here's the LGBT flag. Again, little kids are impressionable, and and if they're bombarded with the idea that the LGBT agenda is what they should embrace and welcome, they're going to fall for it. Here's a couple books that have been objected to that they want to make impossible to screen out. This book is gay. I don't know. I haven't read this book, but I don't imagine it's what you call wholesome reading. Here's another one, All Boys Aren't Blue, about a young African American gay person. Again, if you want this in your library, that's one thing, but the state should not be telling you you can't screen it. Here's the other one. This is the famous gender queer book. Again, it's just promoting the gay agenda to kids who are not in a position to make a good decision about these things. I mean, you can remember as a child, there's a lot of curiosity about sex, and if everyone is bombarding you with the idea that, the gay lifestyle is something you really should toy with, you got to go along with it. So let's see if I can find the. Here's the map of gender identity. These are all the different gender identities that gender identities that the library must cater to. So I don't even know what these things are. What is an androgyne or a bigender, omnisexual, cupidosexual? I mean, where does this end? And again, if this is something that the state government should not be sticking their nose into and mandating. So anyway, if you elect me as your representative, I will resist this stuff. Although this one's already passed, so that would mean you'd have to repeal it. Hopefully, it won't be. It'll be ignored. Again, I'm not launching any kind of agenda against gay people. If it's a personal decision, it's up to you. But I don't want the gay agenda crammed down the throats of our kids. And we need to just leave the kids alone and stop promoting this stuff. If you were to try to promote chastity or a prayer in school is certainly out. The Bible study is certainly not allowed. But but the gay agenda is to be welcomed and encouraged. So anyway, that is what I have to say about that. And I hope that you guys will see where I'm coming from this, and see that this is just one example. That goes on and on between land use. I'll talk later about a bill on. They call the Bill of Rights for Youth in Detention. That is the same kind of thing. That these things, we need to maintain some control over our lives from keep it away from the state. The state of Colorado does not need to micromanage our lives. So enough said. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.